Your company really focuses on brunch, breakfast, lunch. That's kind of your concept there. You saw an 8% increase in same restaurant sales. What was the driver for that? Are you seeing any new trends when it comes to your customers?
Nothing really new. We've had a long track record of same restaurant sales and traffic growth, and this quarter was no different. We've got a very highly differentiated offering. Just open 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day. We're high growth. We're opening on average about a restaurant a week right now across the country, and I think breakfast has been the only day part that has seen growth over the last call it 5 or 7 years, and we're the leader in that space.
So, Chris, you say you're trying to open up restaurants. I want to ask you about two things that have impacted a lot of companies in the restaurant space: inflation, especially when it comes to commodity prices, and also the tight labor market. How's it impacting your expansion plans and your current operations?
We saw some challenges last year in both of those arenas, but I have to say those have abated for us, and we've been able to hire the teams that we need to hire for our growth and for our existing operations. And from a commodity standpoint, we've seen a lot of easing as it relates to that. In fact, we changed our annual guidance on what we expect from commodities. So last year was a really tough year as it relates to commodities. With we're a big egg user, so avian influenza was a big influence last year.
Yeah, obviously a brunch and breakfast, a lot of omelets being served, a lot of scrambled eggs. I want to ask you something else about the consumer. A lot of reports are that they're stretched, and then you hear other companies saying that they're pretty resilient. I've been to brunch a few times. A big thing about brunch is like a seasonal menu or specialty drinks. Are you seeing customers basically spend more for that experience beyond just having the meal, just the experience of enjoying your seasonal menu or buying, maybe another mimosa? Are we seeing that kind of uptrend in spending still?
Yeah, great question. That's actually the first thing we look for to get a pulse on the consumer is there any check management going on? And we're not seeing any of that either. We're seeing when the consumer comes into our restaurant, they've been extremely resilient. They're looking to celebrate. They're doing that add-on of our bacon cheddar cornbread shareable, our $1 million bacon, and we're a multi-beverage occasion as well: coffee and a juice, or coffee and a different drink. And so we're not seeing any of that. In fact, our beverage attachment's been up and our PPA's been up.
So I think the question is, how much longer can this last? I think people have been really eating out over the last year. They've been traveling, even traveling internationally. How much longer do you see this really resilient consumer, this consumer that's willing to spend more just to have a good time lasting?
Obviously, I think it depends on what happens with the economy, but we're starting to hear things about a soft landing, and so hopefully that gets into the consumer psyche and their confidence goes up. But again, we've been extremely pleased with our performance during this difficult time.
All right. So you said inflation when it comes to commodities hasn't impacted your business that much, and the labor market's not that tight right now. But what about wage inflation? We're hearing this across a number of sectors. Are you having to pay people more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we pay above minimum wage for all of our positions in our restaurant, and so we've always been able to not have the same kind of pressure that others have had. And honestly, our daytime only hours really helps us attract the best and the brightest in the restaurant industry. They get to have a quality of life. So we're an employer of choice in the industry, and we've leveraged that during these difficult, challenging hiring times.